If you don't know what it is, why are you messing with it? That was the question I got after I was hit in the back of the head, like Gibbs style, smack, for playing with the thing that I didn't know what the thing was. But I was having a lot of fun playing with the thing. And I'm going to tell you what that thing was, but I really want you to consider the concepts and ask yourself, how many times in life have you kind of messed with something, tweaked with something, adjusted something, changed something, manipulated something, because you thought it'd be fun, but you really didn't have any idea what it was or what it was made to do or what it really did, and therefore tweaking it, well, it didn't seem like a big deal to you, but you had no idea what the long-term impact of tweaking it was going to be. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and I was playing in the garage when I was probably 10 years old or so, and I found this thing that when you spin it really fast, it looked like the egg beaters like Mom would make a cake with, but when you spin it really fast, it would open up and then go back. And maybe you've seen those kids' toys where it looks like a ball, it's all compressed, but you can stretch it like big enough to put it over your head. It was kind of like that. When you spin it, it would open up, and I would play with it just by spinning it. And my uncle walked in and saw me spinning it and causing it to open up, and he smacked me in the back of the head, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Look, when I do this, it's really cool, and it opens up." And he smacked me again. He's like, "Stop doing that." I said, "Well, what does it matter?" He said, "Well, do you know what that is?" I said, "No, I don't know what it is. It's just cool. When I spin it, smack me again." He said, that's made for honing the inside of a cylinder in an engine block. And spinning it like that could throw the whole thing out of balance. And then when you put it in the engine block, it destroys the engine instead of fixing it. That's not what it's made for. It's not a toy for spinning. It's made to go inside the engine block and hone the inside of the cylinder. It has a very specific purpose, and you can't use it for anything else. You can only use it for what it's made for. I want you to hear that statement. See, this week we've talked about influence, and we've talked about brainwash, and we've talked about leadership, and those are very powerful tools, kind of like that very specific tool I was just talking about. It's made for one thing. It doesn't do anything else. It's made for one thing. And to use it outside of that context is to misunderstand that it is a tool made for one thing. Now, I'm not saying that leadership is made for only one thing. I am saying that influence and leadership both, like brainwashing, manipulation, coercion, persuasion, those are each tools. They're made for something. And to use them for something other than what they're made for is both damaging and destructive to the tool, the reputation of the tool, the name of the tool, and damaging and destructive to those things to which you apply it. If I took that cylinder hone and I put it in your, scrambled eggs for breakfast, when you taste your scrambled eggs, they're going to taste a lot like engine parts because that's where it's been, that's what it does, that's what the tool is for. And using it wrong is going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. I hope you're beginning to get the picture. But there are a whole lot of things in our world right now that are being used completely out of context. I've been listening to some of the people who have been being interviewed over the last few days. I guess you could call it interviews. They're before the committees of Congress to be appointed to the jobs that they've been asked to hold, just to be confirmed, to say, yeah, I think they made a good choice. You're the right person. The irony is the number of times that a legitimate question is asked of these persons. In your job, you'll be responsible for A, B, and C. Do you know what a B is? And they're like, well, I'll have to get back to you on that because I don't really know. Okay, I'm not asking you if you have all the data and the facts and the statistics and the most current trends. What I'm asking is, do you know what a B is? Do you have an opinion of what Bs should look like in the English language, at least in America? A capital B is a stick with two humps, and a lowercase b is a stick with a single hump. That's not a really hard definition. But if you don't know what a B is, then your responsibility over A, B, and C is going to be really, really complicated. I wouldn't hire a guy to work in my tire repair shop if he can't distinguish a tire from a wheel on a car. Do you know what a tire is? Now, I can tell you, I've stopped on the side of the road to help people change a flat. One particular instance that I remember, I literally called my wife from the side of the road and said, this car is not going to make it home, but the family in this car can't just stay on the side of the road. Can they sleep on our couch? You can ask my wife. I'm not kidding. You can ask my kids. They were still living at home at the time. Someone had changed their tire and only put 2 of the 5 lug nuts back on. And by the time I found them on the side of the road, the lug nuts had stripped off 4 other lug bolts and ripped a hole in the steel of the tire because they were driving down the road with a spare tire on the front of a minivan that was front-wheel drive and not doing a very good job of driving to begin with. Okay, whoever replaced their spare put their lives in danger because they didn't know how to replace a spare. That is exactly what I'm talking about when I say, do you know what that thing is? Do you know what that tool is for? Do you know how to apply it? Or are you just recklessly using it? Now I want to bring home to roost the reality of this danger. Right now in the world of politics, there are a whole lot of things being thrown out that are opinions. We've watched just in the pandemic alone, follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Okay, which one is the science? I just want to know. I'm not a doctor. I'm trying to listen to the best information I can get my hands on, but if you can't decide as a doctor one day versus the other whether it's good to wear a mask or not wear a mask, when you come back and say, I don't just want you to wear a mask, I want you to wear 2 or 3 or 55, now I have to ask, how much do you sell your masks for? Because it seems to me you've got an incentive for me wearing a mask that has nothing to do with you being a doctor. Use the tool for what it's made for. Is that paper mask, that cloth mask, that sock I pull up over my face actually of any good? I mean, I watch the doctors and nurses in the hospital. That's not the way they use them or what they use. My daughter is a nurse. As an EMT, I wore a different kind of thing and gloves and all that kind of stuff all the time. So is it a fact? Or is it that you don't know what you're talking about? You don't know what that thing is for. You just have an agenda. All right? I want to bring the same indictment to people in the marketing world. Because in the world of leadership and education and providing online courses, there are a whole lot of people out there that say, oh, just get a funnel. Oh, just build a website. Oh, just build a long form website. Oh, just do a video. Oh, just do this. And most of them have good intent. I mean, I can't question their intent. I don't know what their intent is other than what they say, the words that come out of their mouth. But I can tell you they're using the tools of good storytelling. That's a tool. They're using the tools of persuasion. It's a tool. They're using the tools of influence to draw people in their direction, seemingly for the purpose of getting money out of their pockets. Sell high-ticket items. Sure, sell a high-ticket item. Let me ask this question. Did the item that you sold to someone benefit their life? Did you truly add value to them, or did you just make a sale? If your intent is to make a living, I get it. It's a justified reason. Taking care of your family, paying your bills, not asking me for a welfare check. I'm all in, baby. I'll pay you for delivering a good service and adding value to my life all day long, rather than have you take it out of a portion of my taxes because you're too lazy to work. I got no problem with you working at all. I am a free market capitalist from the word go and to the very end. To the last breath, I will be a free market capitalist. I am a conservative, and I believe in individual responsibility. I also believe in individual rights. And I also believe that when your rights supersede my rights, or my rights supersede your rights, it's no longer right, it's a privilege. That's a whole different ballgame. We can go back to the smoking debate in Dallas County from several years ago if you want to go that far. But I still want to bring it back to the same thing. If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? If you don't know what it does, why are you messing with it? When the lady was being asked to be confirmed and asked the question, does it seem like a good idea that on public lands where pipelines already deliver heat and fuel oil to states where it tends to get cold, does it seem right for the federal government to deny access to maintain, upkeep, and make sure they're in good working order, those pipelines? And she said, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you. Okay, look, this is an opinion question. Do you know what a pipeline is? That's pretty factual. Do you know what public lands are? That's pretty factual. But in your opinion, should they have access to maintain what they built and they own and they're responsible for? Or should that be taken away by a bill written by congressmen who've never seen a pipeline or a public land easement, but they have an agenda far beyond getting heat and fuel oil to the people whose houses are cold? If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? Seems like a really practical question to me. And for those of you playing the games, and I'll create an online course, but I've never asked anybody what they need. I'll create an online course because it seems like a fast way to $1 million. Look, you can make $32,716 before 10 a.m. Yay! If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? Seems like a really logical question to me, and I think it ought to be stamped on the forehead of everyone who ever runs for Congress. If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? There's a reason for the last 200 plus years in the United States that, generally speaking, in a public place, there's a restroom for people with biological, anatomically correct parts of one sort versus biological, anatomically correct parts of another sort. I don't care what label you put on the door. If your parts are like this or your parts are like this, then you probably should go to one or the other. If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? Seems like a logical question. And honestly, my friends, I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I follow the Bible. That's my standard. But I have great friends who are also Jewish believers and Muslim believers. And when it comes to what is a man, what is a woman, what is a family, they all pretty much agree on those things. Religious doctrines aside, they hold them to be self-evident. H.R. 5, on the other hand, does not. H.R. 5 does not see that. If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? That's not just a leadership principle. It's not just a parenting principle. It's a governing principle. If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? I'm sorry to get on a soapbox today, but I hope you'll share this message because I will promise you, YouTube and Facebook will show that it has no views, nobody watches, nobody cares, nobody's concerned about this conversation. So let me ask Facebook and YouTube the same question. If you don't know what it's for, why are you messing with it? I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.